What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Grant.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the G Team. This week we're going to take a look at how to have a new mentality, how to have a renewed mentality on the Christian life, and just a good outlook as to how we should live our everyday lives as Christians. Thankfully this week I'm feeling a lot better than I was, and she's feeling a lot better than she was. We're both almost back to 100%. So that's definitely been a blessing. I don't think either of us have been well at the same time since the middle of December. We've been sick on and off. So it's great to finally be feeling better. Thank you guys for the prayers and everything. And now we'll go ahead and we'll jump right in.
Yes, so we're reading from Esther 4, and the verse I'm going to be reading is verse 16, so you can follow along with us. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Now would be a good time to take the video, pause it, take a minute to pray, and then when you're done, come right back and we'll jump right in. Okay, so diving right in, basically I'll give a little bit of a background here as to what's going on because we don't really have the time to go back and read it all. It'd be a long video if we did that. So what's happened is the queen has been demoted and Esther has been named the new queen, and one of the king's advisors has basically been, his name is Haman, he's basically been plotting to kill all the Jews. And a man named Mordecai finds out about it, and he comes to Esther and he says, "You're the queen, you need to go tell the king what's going on, tell him to stop this." And that's basically where we get to when we read our verse. And she's saying, okay, you go and you fast, and I'm going to go and my maidens and we'll fast, and basically we'll ponder on it, we'll fast, pray about it. And then she said, I will go into the king. So she said, okay, I'm going to do it. And my favorite part of the verse is at the very end. She says, if I perish, I perish. And that is her basically motto, is the way I kind of see it, is this whole situation. She's saying, you know, I'm going to do it, and whatever happens, happens. Is basically what she's saying. If I perish, I perish. And I just love that.
Yeah, and that's basically the type of mentality. If you want to be a Christian and live the Christian life, you have to have this type of mentality to where I'm going to listen to what God's telling me to do, what His law says that I'm supposed to be doing, and follow that in my life indefinitely. And if I perish, I perish. And today, that's probably not so much of a thing anymore. Yeah. I mean, persecution is still definitely happening. Yeah. But in our day-to-day lives, that's not of a, oh, I might die today because I am following the life God has set forth for me. But if you want to be a Christian, you're going to have that mentality constantly, because it's not going to be easy following the path that He has for you. And
there are still places in the world where Christians are killed for their beliefs, but it's not as prominent as it was in those days. In those days, it was actually pretty common. So her saying, if I perish, I perish, was a very real thing. And it didn't even have to do with really the religion as much as it did her going into the king and asking him not to do something. Because you see right before she says, if I perish, I perish, she says that is not according to the law. It was not customary for a woman to go to a man and say, hey, don't do this, or I think you should do this. And that's where she's saying, if I perish, I perish. But we can translate this mentality into our lives, and we have to take that as a Christian and live like that, because the Christian life is not going to be easy. The Christian life is going to be very difficult. Satan is going to be throwing everything he can at you to try to get you to stumble and fall. And being a Christian is not easy. Now, even though it's not going to be easy here on earth, it's going to be so worth it in the end when Jesus calls us home and He comes and gets us, because then we're not even going to think about the things of the world anymore. But, I mean, being a Christian today on earth, and in America especially, has become more and more of a minority, because so many people are against what we believe. And so this mentality of, if I perish, I perish, is not totally irrelevant when it comes to how we live today. Like we said, we're more than likely in our lives not going to face actual physical death because of our beliefs. But we are going to face persecution. People are going to make fun of us. People are going to make fun of what we do, how we talk, how we believe, and that's just part of it. We can't let those things of the world bother us, and we just need to move on from it. But once again, you just have to look at this mentality that Esther had. If I perish, I perish. And live your life like that as a Christian. And if you live all out for God, you're not going to have to look back at the end of your life and say, wow, I wish I had done this sooner. Mm-hmm. The sooner you start living for God, the more you're going to be able to accomplish for Him. And if you ask any old person today who's been saved for the duration of their lives, they're going to tell you that they wish they could have done more for God. They're not going to say that they did too much. You're not going to meet a Christian who's going to say, I did too much for God.
You can never do too much. You should always be growing. And we've talked about that in a lot of videos, but you should.
You should always be growing. And just live this week. Just do it for 1 week and see the difference that it makes. From today, when this uploads on Sunday, to next Sunday, live your life with the mentality, if I perish, I perish. And do that for God, and you're going to see a difference in your life immediately. That's it for this week. Next week, we'll hopefully be back with another video. And hopefully, once again, we'll both continue to be feeling better. Neither of us will be sick next week. But yeah, God's been good, and He's allowed us to both feel better. So hopefully this sickness is behind us. We can move on. Good luck with your guys' week this week. We hope you guys have a great week. Once again, I'm Grant.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the G Team.
And don't forget,
do your best and let God do the rest.